the Always Believe House. Oh, today we're going to have F-U-N, fun, because we're going to do Star Review 5 together. Ho, 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 ho. So a magical whiteboard appears, and let's start rocking and rolling. And we're going to start off with none else than problem number 1. Remember, you will be graphing 3 lines all the time in the fall, so you need to get used to it. Number 1 is y equal -3. So we're going to start at -3 on the y-axis, and I need to draw dots where y is always -3. So 1 comma -3, 2 comma -3, 3 comma -3. All of these ordered pairs would have y equal -3. A flat line has a slope of 0. I'll show you a way to help you remember that in a minute. Number 2, we got x equals 4. So I need all of my x's to equal 4. So my x is right here at 4. And every time I put a dot going straight up and down, 4 comma 1, 4 comma 2, the x's are always 4. So that's problem number 2. Oh, okay. A vertical line is not a function, is it? Because the x's are repeating. It has an undefined slope. And lastly, on number 3, to graph this line, this is our slope. This is our y-intercept. Our slope is 3 over 2. That means this line will go up 3, right 2, up 3, right 2, and the y-intercept is -3. So I'm going to put a dot at -3, the y-intercept. From this dot, I'm going to count up 3, right 2, and then I'm going to count up 3, right 2, and then I'm going to count up 3, right 2. I just keep going up 3, right 2, and I could go down and left. I could go backwards 1. Notice all of these dots are going up 3, right 2, aren't they? And that's problem number 3. Now then, these form a triangle, and I'm going to bullet my dots on the triangle. Okay, on this problem, they want the base, which is right here, and the base has a length of 4. My height is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My height has a height of 6. So I got 4 and 6, and then I'm going to get the area of this. 1/2 times 4 times 6 is going to be 12 units squared. Areas, units squared. Now then, let's go to number 6. We're going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We're going to have 4 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. 4 times 4 is 16. 36 equals c squared. 16 and 36 add up to 52. And then last year you were taught how to get these square roots. Okay, so we need to go to our calculator and get the square root. I'm going to go to calculate, control x squared, 52. And it's 7.211, or just 7.2. We're going to round it to 7.2. So C equals 7.2 units. And now we're going to go to number 7. The ordered pair where number 1 and number 3 intersect. Number 1 and number 3 intersect right here. And that ordered pair is 0, -3. We'll learn that in December, or like around Thanksgiving, how to solve where 2 lines cross. So those are the first 3 problems. Now then, I'm going to show you a way to remember these slopes. So y'all draw this with me. To remember your slopes, you're going to draw something called the slope man. Okay, so the slope man. Okay, draw a circle. The slope man is like winking at you, like the boy robot. Okay, the integer boy robot. He has a U for a nose, and he has 2 zeros for his dimples. All right, so y'all got the slope man? He's winking at you, plus and minus. He's got a U for the nose, and he's got 2 zeros for his dimples. Now then, a positive slope forms 1 eyebrow. A positive slope goes up left to right. A negative slope goes down left to right. An undefined line forms his nose. So an undefined line goes up and down. A 0 slope line forms the mouth. So that is slope man. So 0 slope, undefined slope, a positive slope goes up, a negative slope goes down. So remember that. That slope man will help you remember your slopes. Let's go down to number 8. Okay, on number 8, we're going to be drawing these. You need to remember how to do this. I taught you at the beginning of the year. Remember, a big square is an x squared. a rectangle is an X and a little square equals an integer, right? So we're going to keep drawing these. If they're negative, you shade them in. So number 8, I have 2x squared. That's 2 big squares. And then I have 1 shaded rectangle. And then I have 5 open squares. Don't make them neat, just draw them. Now then, I'm going to put the next one below it. So I got x squared. I have 3 open rectangles. And I have 2 shaded squares. Now then, I'm going to combine them up. So how many big squares do I have? I have 3 big squares, or 3x squared. By rectangles, I got 4 rectangles, but it's 1 shaded. So I need to get rid of the shaded rectangle. I'm going to take out a 0 pair. I have 2 open rectangles left. And then I have a whole bunch of squares, but some are shaded and some are open. I'm going to take 2 0 pairs out. If I take 2 away from 5, I have positive 3. 5 minus 2 is a positive 3 in it. Now then, let's go to number 9. This is the distributive property. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 4x minus 3. I'm going to draw my answer rectangle. And then once you have your answer rectangles done, you slice it up, right? And this 3 needs to be negative, doesn't it? So these squares are negative. So I'm going to slice up my rectangle. And the squares over here are going to be shaded, aren't they? Okay, so my answer is going to be 8 rectangles, 8x, and then 6 shaded squares minus 6. Notice if I bluebell truck a 2, let me switch that ink. If I bluebell truck a 2, I get 2 times 4x is 8x, 2 times negative 3 is minus 6. So 8x minus 6. Let's go to number 10. So I have x plus 1 times x plus 4. So I'm going to multiply x times 1 and x times 4. I'm going to draw my answer rectangle. Then I'm going to slice up. Ho, 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 ho. And then I'm going to write down my answer. I have 1 big square, that's x squared. I got 5 rectangles plus 5x, and I got 4 little squares plus 4. Ho, 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 ho. F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Continue the fun. Let's go to number 11. We got x minus 3 times x plus 3. X minus 3 is going to be shaded down here, and then x plus 3. These will be open. And then I'm going to draw my answer rectangle, and then I'm going to slice. These are all going to be shaded down here. Okay, so now then let's write our answer. We have 1 big square, so that's going to be x squared. What's going to happen to all the rectangles? I got 3 open, 3 shaded rectangles, they'll all cancel out. And I got 9 shaded squares. X squared minus 9. Ho, 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 ho. Going to number 12. On number 12, we need to graph this. And then we're going to hit Control T. That gives us a table of values that will give us the answer to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to graph it, hit Control T, and use the domain to get our range. So we're going to go to the calculator, hit Home, B for graph, not A, Home, B to graph, and then I'm going to hit Tab, and I got x squared, hit Tab again, x squared, and then let me get the equation again, x squared minus 2x minus 8. So x squared minus 2x minus 8. I need to put that in the calculator. Minus 2x minus 8. Hit enter. I got my graph. We're going to be graphing these in the spring. It's called a parabola. I'm going to hit Control T. And bam, I got my table right here. I'm going to hit up. So these are my answers. Notice the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left. These numbers are my domain. The numbers on the right are the range. So it's -8, -9, -8, 5, and 0, okay? So I'm going to go to my paper. If I inputted 0, it was -8. If I inputted 1, it was -9. The 2 gave me a -8. The 3 gave me a -5. And the 4 gave me a 0. This is really input of 4, output of 0, or an ordered pair of 4, 0. That is called the 0 of the function. So if you input 4, you output 0, that will turn into an x-intercept, which is a very important number. Let's go to number 13. Remember, we're going to graph. When we graph, this number in front of x is your slope. So look at this one right here. The 4/5 is your slope. Don't have to worry, no math. Now then on this one, it's not in the right order. We want y equal x and a number. Y equal x and a number. Y equal x and a number. So I need to move the x over. I need to make it y equal x the number. I'm going to get 3y equal, if I move the positive 4x over, it's negative 4x plus 24. All I'm caring about is a number in front of x. The next thing I got to do is divide by 3. And I got 3 numbers to divide by 3 by. This right here will be my slope. So my slope is going to be negative 4 over 3. Let's go to the next one. So on this one right here, I need to move the x to the left. I want it to be y equal x the number. Y equal x the number. So I'm going to get negative 3y equals negative x plus 15. Now it's in the right order in it. Y equal x the number. Now then I got to divide 3 times, and I got to divide by negative 3. My slope is right here, and technically there's a negative 1 up there in there. 2 negatives make a positive, and my slope is going to turn into 1 over 3. If I were to finish this, I would get y equals 1 over 3x minus 5. That would be the linear function of that. So the slope's 1 over 3, and the y-intercept would be negative 5. Let's go to the next problem. I just showed you how to do this on the calculator last week. So we're always going to do these on the calculator. Remember though, function of miles is a function of gallons, so our x is on the top. And remember, your slope is y minus y over x minus x. Basically, you're subtracting these and making a fraction, right? That's what the calculator is going to do. So let's go to our calculator. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to hit Control-T and then Home. I'm going to click 1 for New. I'm going to click 4 for Spreadsheet. And then I'm going to put X at the top and Y at the top. Remember, your A and B have to have X and Y up there. Now then, I'm going to go put the numbers in. So I have 5, 8, and 15. So I'm going to go in and put 5, 8, and 15 in for my X's. It's easier to put all of your X's in than all of the Y's in. Go up, and now I'm going to put all my Y's in. My Y's are 115, 184, and 345. So 115, is that right? 115, 184, 345. 118, 115, 184, make sure again I'm losing it, 115, 184, 345. So 345. Make sure those match up. So that's the numbers that are in my table. Once you get the table in, remember the keystrokes menu. The statistics is 4, stat calculations is 1, the linear regression, the mx plus b we want's 3, then it's x down, y down, enter. So x down, y down, enter, and bam, this number right here is the slope, 23. So we get a slope of 23. So we're going to go to our paper. Our slope is 23. And remember to write that out, what that actually means. 23 are Y's miles per gallon. So every mile, every 23 miles takes 1 gallon. Every 23 miles takes 1 gallon. And the slope is also called the constant rate of change. So the constant rate of change, the slope, all the same thing. We're going to do the same thing on this one. We're going to put it in the table and calculate our slope. So we're going to go, and we want 3, 8, and 15. So I'm going to hit Home, 1 for New, never save anything. I'm going to add a spreadsheet. I got to put X and Y at the top. And then it's 3, 8, and 15, I think, for the X's. 3, 8, and 15 for the X's. So 3, 8, 15. And then I'm going to go over here. Before we get any further, underline function of y and x. The dollars is a function of the hours. Usually they put the x on the top. Usually they put the x on the top. So our y will be 37.5, 100. So 37.5, 100. And then my other y would be 187.5. So 187.5, enter. Now then, menu 413, and then repeat the process. Menu, stats, stat calculation, linear regression, x down, y down, enter. So x down, y down, not that. I messed up. Back. Menu 413, x down, y down, enter. And here is my slope, which is 12.5. So my slope is going to be 12.5. So I'm going to go here, my slope's 12.5. And remember, we have to write that out in words. It would be 12.5. My y is dollars per hour. So in 1 hour, I will earn $12.5 or $12.5 per hour. The 12.5 is called the constant rate of change. Let's go to number 16. Bubba Bob has 10 ounces of Mystic Manly Man cologne. He uses 2 ounces of cologne each week. Write the function rule. Okay, so we want GX plus S, right? He starts off with 10 ounces and he uses 2 ounces. Since he's using his cologne, it's not going up, it's going down. The growing number will be -2. We start off with 10. This right here is the slope or the constant rate of change. So the slope is -2 and it's 2 ounces per week. So he uses 2 ounces of cologne per week. So his cologne is going down by 2 ounces every week. Let's go over here. The y, and let's see, remember this is y and x. So let's go label our axes, ounces and weeks. And now then we're going to get our y-intercept. Our y-intercept's 10, and it's the starting or the initial amount of cologne. The starting or the initial amount of cologne. On your test, it's going to say initial amount. So we're going to start off at 10. The x-intercept, how do you get the x-intercept? Remember, you're going to take your starting number and divide it by the growing number and flip the sign. So we need to take 10 and divide it by 2. So how many 2's are in 10? There's 5 of them. In 5 weeks, it's going to be 0 cologne. He will run out of cologne in 5 weeks. So put a dot down here and put 5. Connect the dots. 0 is right here. And remember, this is going to be your domain. This right here will be your range. And we'll get to that in a minute. So the domain goes from the x-axis, small to big. The range is small to big on the y-axis. Let's keep going. Let me make sure this camcorder is still recording. Yes, it is. So we're on problem number 19. Making sure that camera recorder, this is the 3rd time I've done this. Okay, so on number 19, you're going to put this into InSolve. When you do it, it will look like this. And you're going to get the answer, but you got to show the steps to get full credit. Okay, so do InSolve and put your answer over here. And make sure I'm not going to do InSolve at the same time. So let's work it out by hand. We're going to blue belt truck the 4. Remember, we got to get 1 letter and 1 number on each side. And get rid of all the parentheses. So 8x plus 12 equals -6 plus 5x. Now then, we want all of the rectangles to go to the left. The 8's rectangles, the 12 is squares, the 6 should be not 6x, but 6 is squares, and the 5 is rectangles. So we're going to take this 5x and we're going to move it to the 8x. To move it across, the opposite of plus 5x is minus 5x. So 8x minus 5x is 3x, plus 12 equals -6. Now then, we're going to take the 12 and move it over here. So the opposite of plus 12 is minus 12. Now this is 6, not 16. Sorry about that. So we're going to move the 12 over, and now we're going to have 3x equals -18. We're going to divide by the coefficient, and you will end up with -6. Okay, so we have -6 for that answer. Okay, keep going. We're going to cross multiply here. So we're going to multiply by 8 and by 6. So I'm going to have 8 times 2x plus 3. And I'm going to have 6 equals 6 times 12. Do this in InSolve. Put the answer here. I got a Bluebell truck my 8. I'm going to get 16x plus 24 equals 72. Move over the 24. 16x equals 48. I'm going to divide by 16, and I should get 3. So 3 and negative 6 are these answers. Okay, let's go to this one. On this one right here, we're going to use the calculator, and we're going to put these into a table, and we're going to calculate our M and B. Okay, so let's go to our calculator. I'm going to hit home, 1, and then click no. I'm going to add a spreadsheet, and then I'm going to type in my X and my Y, and then I'm going to type in my order pairs. So my order pairs are 6 and 9 for my X's. So I'm going to put 6 and 9 in here, go up here, I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to put in 10 and 14. So 10 and 14. Now then, menu 413, X down, Y down, enter. Menu 413, X down, Y down, enter. And I get, this is my slope. My y-intercept's 2. So I need to make this slope a decimal. Remember, if you hit Control-C, it looks like nothing happens. My cursor's over the 1.33. I'm going to hit Home and A. And then I'm going to hit Control-V to paste. And notice I have 1.333. Then menu 2, enter, makes it a fraction. 4 over 3. So I'm going to go to my paper. My M equals 4 over 3. My B was equal to 2. Y equals 4 over 3x plus 2. Now then on the next one, I know my X, my Y, and my M. The battery's going low here. I'm going to have to hurry. I'm going to put this into Y equal mx plus B and solve for B. So my Y is 2. My M is 3/4. My X is 8. And I don't know my B. I'm going to put this into InSolve and solve for B. So I'm going to go to the calculator. I'm going to hit menu, menu algebra, menu 3.1, menu 3.1 for InSolve, and then it was 2 equals 3/4 times 8. So 2 equals, control divide, and then 3/4, and then times 8, plus B, comma B. Hit enter, and bam, I get my y-intercept of -4. So I'm going to go back to my paper, and my B is equal to -4. My M is 3/4. My equation would be y equals 3 over 4x minus 4. That's the function rule that would generate the rules, or the order pairs. Now then, let's go up to this. We're going to look at the graph on this problem. The domain goes from 0 to 5. So my domain starts at 0. It goes to 5. The domain is x. You always use less than or equal signs. So the domain has to be more than 0 or less than 5. My range goes from 0 to 10. So my range starts at 0, goes to 10. The range is the y-axis, and I got to put the less than signs. So the amount of cologne is from 0 ounces to 10 ounces. I'm going to go to 22. Okay. The fair's coming up. You got to take a date to the fair. So Jiminy John is going to the fair with Lucy Claire. They eat, after riding rides and eating suppers, Lucy Claire wants a giant stuffed possum. Okay, he's got $30 to win, and $5 gets him 8 rings. So think about this. How many times can he play? If you do 30 divided by 5, he could play 6 times, right? And every time he plays, he gets 8 rings. That's 48 rings. So he's got 48 shots to win that stuffed possum. Let's go to number 23. Bubba Bob and Emma Sue are also at the fair. After riding rides and eating supper, Emma Sue wants to eat as many fried Oreos. I love fried Oreos. Bubba Bob has $15. How many can he get if it's $5 for every 2? So we have a proportion here, money over Oreos. So we're going to have 15 over, we don't know, equals $5 gets us 2 Oreos. So we're going to cross multiply. We're going to get 5x equals 15 times 2. 5x equals 30. So x is going to end up being 6. So we could get 6 Oreos here. And they fill you up quick. Now then, let's go to this one. We're going to get the domain and range of this. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Make a T-chart. The X is going to be how many rings he's going to get. The Y is going to be his money. Okay? So if we start off with $0, we get 0 rings. The rings is going to be on the X. The Y will be up here. The first time we play a game, we get 8 rings, don't we? So with 8 rings, it's going to cost us $5. Then we're going to get 16 rings for $10. And we keep doing this. 24 is 15, 32 is 20, 40 is 25, and 48 is what? But what happens when we get here? We cannot get any more rings because we only have $30. So this right here is going to be my domain. These numbers over here will be my range. So my domain is going to be 0 to 48 is the number of rings. And it's going to be 0, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. And then the money is the domain. And it's going to be 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And remember, you would not connect the dots in this. It would be a discrete function, which is why we have to write out the domain and range in ordered pairs, okay? Remember, this was fun today. I hope you have fun at the fair over the weekend. Have a great day. Remember, you are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things. And you are awesome.